me. I don't know. Hi, my name is Lisa. Welcome to our live at Cryptid Women's Society with my beautiful t-shirt on. We're just waiting for Juliet to get her butt back here because she had an argument with a bus driver. So that was interesting. Cool. We are live on Instagram as well. Everything is running. So we're just going to wait for some people to jump in here. Today's topic is Egyptian mummies and the movies that surround them in the pop culture. Why are mummies so darn popular? I don't know. Does my head in, but I kind of like it. So mummies are one of my favorite movies for sure. So let's just see if I can
Egyptian
get in here.
And the movies that surround them in the pop culture.
And we are live on YouTube and Instagram. We have got just so many exciting things running in the background at the moment. Super exciting stuff going on. I can't really drop too much information. I totally want to just be like, blah, 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 this is what's going on, but I can't. So let me just give you a couple of little tidbits of kind of cryptic clues of what's going on in the background. We have the most amazing, exciting interview coming up, which will be released in a few weeks. It includes the Chupacabra, Ella Chupacabra, and a very, very close contact to one of the first people on the scene on the first sighting and encounters throughout Puerto Rico. So that is going to be ridiculously amazing, and I cannot wait to do this interview, and we will drop that as soon as humanly possible. So that's the first thing, super exciting. Number two, we have stuff to do with Bigfoot coming up. And that for me is super exciting. I know Juliet's on board with this, super excited as well. And so just know Bigfoot is on his way, and we are talking Bigfoot globally. So we'll give you more information on that, but some real exciting stuff happening there as well. We just can't tell you yet. What else is happening? Oh gosh. Right now Cryptid Women's Society is running a 2-for-1 deal. So if you have a woman in your life, or you are a woman that wants to join the membership, now's the time to do it, because you can get your best friend or your daughter or your sister or your auntie or your mom in for free. So whatever you choose to get, be it a Pathfinder, a Truth Seeker for however long, then she gets exactly the same for free. So you're looking for a gift to give someone for Christmas time. You're looking for a birthday present for all of those Librans and Scorpios out there. Why not buy them a membership to Cryptid Women's Society? What a cool way of saying, here you go, have something that you love. And right now you get 2-for-1. So that is super exciting. Lots of people have been taking that opportunity up, and our membership is growing, which is so cool. It means that with more community involvement, more women in our community sharing their stories, giving advice, sharing information, research, all of that sort of stuff, we are just growing this business and this industry massively, and it means that everyone gets a say in it, and that's what we love. So we're here to support women within that space, and if you are a woman, then why not come and join? Or if you're a man and you have a woman in your life, that's what you should buy her for Christmas time. Okay, just making sure you know. What else is going on? Oh my Lord. Oh, well, Juliet's going to Egypt, hence the reason why we're doing Egyptian stuff. Next week is our last Egyptian week of topic talk, and we're talking about Cleopatra next week. So then we get into cryptids after that, which will be really cool because we're going to do some comparisons between American really well-known cryptids and then South Pacific cryptids, and see if we can find some really cool connection points in there. We've got a couple of guests jumping on to talk with me because obviously Juliet will be walking through pyramids, so she can't come and hang out. But hopefully we'll get a couple of lives out of her, which will be wicked. And we are in summertime. Summertime in New Zealand is the best, right? In Australia, it hits like 40 degrees or something ridiculous like that, and plus, which is super hot. Like we're talking Celsius, not Fahrenheit. So double it plus a little bit more, I think. And in New Zealand, our summertime hits around kind of 30 degrees and it's just pleasant. It's so nice. We go and lie out on the trampoline. We drink our mimosas. You know, we have our children fan us with banana palms. It works beautifully. Anyway, okay, that's what I do. So we're going into summertime here. Juliet's heading to the other side of the world where I think she's going to be heading to like kind of wintry time, but I don't know how wintry it gets in Egypt. So we shall see. And I think Juliet has just jumped on. We'll just give her a couple of seconds to give me a wee little high five and say, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. Has she got her microphone locked in? Okay, here we go. We're bringing her. Oh, God, no, she hasn't. She's just run away. If you want to comment today, if you really want to get those comments through, jump over to YouTube. We need you on YouTube so we can read your comments. We cannot read the comments on Instagram. So we try our best. It doesn't filter through here, but jump on YouTube over at Cryptid Women's Society. Help us build that space as well. We will love you forever. And we promise at some point we will come to America and come and see you all. So get your asses over there. Let's just wait for Juliet to get back. Oh, she's back. Oh, God, here she is. Hey.
Hello. I have got my microphone on. I've just plugged it in. As soon as you said it, I'm like, oh, shit.
I know. I was like, I see you in the background there.
Okay.
That's all good. Hey, your background's a piece of shit.
Is that? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's patchy as. I know. So I tried to put a background on and I couldn't quite get my camera to work. So.
All right. Try that. What about that one?
That's okay. You keep disappearing, but that's fine.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I'll keep still in a minute.
Yeah. If you could just sort your life out, that'd be great.
Oh, it's what I mean. Like, I'm like, oh, it's the mummy. It's like, oh.
Is that what's happening? Yeah, no, it's just our crappy technology. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Well, there's one other thing I need to tell you about. We are now live on everywhere you can find a podcast. So if you want to listen to us, lucky you, you can go and find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of the other, and we're also on Apple. So I feel a real flash doing that one. So this live will be an audio version onto all of those podcast places. So you can now listen to that. So please go share, go like, go love, go hate, whatever. It builds the algorithm.
Any publicity is good publicity. Gregory just said, can we do a punch like boxing?
What? Say that again, sorry?
Gregory, hello ladies, you're awesome. Can you do a punch like boxing? What? Punching Lisa?
I tell you what,
we could be totally wrong on that one. It could be like an American thing.
If I had a chance right now, I would punch Juliet because she's buggering off to Egypt without me. Okay, I am a little bit grumpy. I will stay here and work, and I will show up to our lives because she's a dick.
I will try, but it will be like 1 o'clock in the morning. So
read it. Grumpy cat. Grumpy cat. True story.
Zen and Zata coffee.
Hey, so
it's been a stressful week, man.
yeah. Well, hard out, right? I was just telling everyone kind of just giving some a little bit of cryptic information about stuff that's going on in the background without saying too much. I know, I just want to blurt everything out and I can't.
She's a blurter.
When it comes to like non-disclosure. I could never be a celebrity, right? Because I'd be like, non-disclosure form. Does that mean I can't talk about it? That's not conducive.
Specify exactly what I couldn't talk about. So
yeah, be very specific. But yeah, so I just said that, what do we run through? That we've got an amazing interview coming up that will be dropped in a couple of weeks in regards to the El Chupacabra. That's very exciting. We also have some Bigfoot stuff happening in the background, and I just wanted to drop that little tidbit. It's so exciting. And we have our 2-for-1 going on right now as far as getting your membership. What an amazing time to get a Christmas present for the woman that you love.
Sorry if I disappear. I'm just finding all my notes. Yes.
And we're talking cryptids in a couple of weeks. And do you know what? I have scored Joe from the Ancient Enigma Files to come and hang out with me and be my co-host while you're away.
Thanks, guys. Just whatever. Anyway, I'm going to call you at like 1 a.m. in the morning from Egypt and go, you missed it.
Yeah, mate, I'm replacing you. Just know. Okay, I'm replacing you.
Joe's a pretty good replacement. So would Mike from Tactical Bigfoot. They'd be pretty good replacements. I'd be happy with that.
For real. Yeah,
So,
yeah. I take a couple of.
They'll both have to wear a wig and look like me and wear a Cryptid Woman's t-shirt. Just saying.
Actually.
Otherwise, it's just not going to work.
Not a bad idea. I tell you what, we've got a couple of mics in our lives, and I feel like any one of those mics could jump in. Mike from Cryptid HQ could jump in. There's a few mics.
There's a few mics going on.
There's mics. Hey, okay, well.
What's been going on with your week, Lisa? What's been going on with your week?
Sorry, say that again. What's been going on with my week?
Yeah, what's happened to your week?
Oh, well, I tell you what, real quick, I've been planting sunflower seeds, right? Because we've got this giant property. So I'm like, I'm going to make this thing pretty. So we've done strawberries. I've just planted some sunflower seeds. I know that sounds real dumb and mundane, but my life is a bit sad. And this is where I get my excitement from as Cryptid Women's Society.
And we haven't really caught up this week. It's been very fast and furious phone calls and stuff. So between us.
Yeah, man. And honestly, it's just like getting into like busy season because I'm a personal trainer on my other, like my human job, as the beautiful Kelly told us, her human job. So I was like, yeah, my human job is personal training. It's getting super busy in the gym. So it's always a challenge, you know, juggling everything around and all that sort of stuff. And I know there's so many people that follow us on Instagram and on YouTube and follow Cryptid Women's Societies that do this, right? We have a couple of businesses running, or we do a podcast and this, and it's always a real challenge to try and get content out and to do it. So big ups to everyone that's smashing more than one thing at a time.
Big ups to my Lisa, who's been covering heaps for me this week. It's been a week, so she's amazing. She's amazing.
I love you too. I love you as well. No, man, but other than that,
it's a big bottle of wine next time.
And yeah, it's real exciting. We've had some new members join Cryptid Women's Society, which is just so exciting. Can't wait to kind of get in there and start adding some new bits and pieces. I've actually been in there adding some things about Bigfoot sightings and Yowie sightings and cryptids throughout the South Pacific. So that's pretty cool. I found an amazing little article about Yerans over in China. So I thought that was real exciting, and there's a heap of
whole
stuff.
area is kind of opening up, like
For real.
more stuff's kind of coming out of China, you know, because they're very closed off over there, very limited about what information's coming out. But yeah, it's coming back a little bit, you know what I mean?
I hear you on that one, and I love the idea of cryptid creatures and making that connection throughout the world, because we always hear about the American cryptid creatures. You know, they're always so prominent in any sort of media or anything that we're talking about and hearing about. And to be able to make those connections on a global scale was really cool, right? Just being able to say there was one here, and they're so similar. What's the connection point there?
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in this area here. It's like somebody's sitting beside me and just I don't know what it is.
You kind of look like you've got the predator behind you there.
Yeah, I know.
But like a little hologram predator. That's nice.
It's like, maybe it's the white blanket.
I don't know. Oh, look, I'm in the office at the moment, and I tell you what, I am. I'm putting up my office roof. My office wall. So I'm going to decorate it with my Vietnamese stuff that I brought home, and that's one of my favorite ones. He's giant.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. I love it.
Anyway, hey, oh, really quickly before we go, if you give very good punches, give some more and I will subscribe. Wait, this is
Gregory, for the wrong sex, mate.
Gregory,
Unless you're a Georgina, so.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Oh, yes, subscribe to YouTube channel. Oh, okay.
Gregory, I'll tell you what. So yesterday I went and trained my clients, and I said to one of my clients, "Do you want to do some boxing?" And he goes, "No." And I said to him, "Why not? Like, I've got hand pads and gloves and stuff." And he just looked at me and went, "Nope." And I said, "That's a perfect opportunity. I'm a martial artist. You get to." He goes, "No, I know. No."
Yeah, no, that's why I'm not doing it with
No.
you.
So I appreciate it. One day you might get the opportunity to come and do a personal training session with me and we can do some boxing.
Yeah.
But I might kill you, so just safety first. Safety first. Safety
And especially if we're really drunk, then that doesn't.
Yeah, even worse. Even worse. I mean, like my children like try and give me a go now, and like, they're a little bit bigger than me now. They're sitting 6 foot or a bit bigger, and they're like, "Come on, mum, give it a go." And I'm like, "Really?" And they're like, "No." So I'm just, "No, mum." Okay.
And then there's my 6'3" son that tries it on, and then I chase him around the house with a pipe. So, and I managed to get him straight between the eyes. It was great. It was not a steel pipe, just saying, people. Very thick cardboard pipe, and he thought he'd be really funny and annoy me with it. So I managed to grab it off on him and smack him between the eyes. So
we go off track so fast, straight into child abuse,
straight into violence.
Well,
it's Greg's fault. It's Gregory's fault for talking about boxing, so he got us onto it. So we'll
thank you. Blame Greg. Hey, there's something else that was that happened this week, and I've seen it kind of going crazy on Instagram and TikTok and stuff. Did you see the UFO over the top of Washington DC?
No, I did not.
God, seriously. If anyone knows anything about that, can you drop it down in the comments for us and just let us know? Because seriously, like, there's been so many conflicting stories, but I jumped on Mysterious Planet with the Ancient Enigma Files. I think they did a little bit of a collab on that one. And they were talking about the lights coming up and the fact that they didn't shoot it down. And it was allowed to stay there for a while.
Like the triangle style one, then they came
it was
down?
It was like 3 lights that sat on top of like
okay.
the
Because I saw one yesterday very briefly while I was at work, and it was like a triangle, like light, like orange light, and then it basically just started coming down, then it all separated and stuff. So yeah. There's so much stuff coming out,
and with all the disclosure stuff coming out, actually, Joe from the Ancient Enigma Files, I know we're mentioning him a lot at the moment, but he's one of our favorite people. He actually just did a live on Instagram about Project Blue Beam, Project Blue Beam, which is essentially the program for holograms, government-based holograms, with the idea that these UFOs could be holograms. And have you seen the technology with holograms happening across the world? It's friggin' insane, right? It's mental. You wouldn't even know, like, you just wouldn't know. And like, you have drones doing all that sort of stuff, but you've also got this holographic technology that's literally putting dragons in the middle of the sky and all this sort of stuff, and things in like New York and Times Square and that sort of stuff, where people are stepping out from the buildings and all that sort of stuff. Is so crazy. So it wouldn't be too difficult to believe that they could do some form of a disclosure project where they use holograms to fear people and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, that's really, there is some amazing stuff that's kind of coming out. Look at people, I've been looking at some of the Halloween stuff which has been coming out in America, and people's houses. The whole houses are just basically like a Star Wars theme or this thing, it's insane.
Mental, it's so crazy.
We've got access to that. Imagine what, like these governments and stuff.
Well, that's it. And we're a good 30, 40, 50 years behind that military industrial complex design and creation, right? So, and innovation. So pretty crazy town. Anyway, I veered off course there a little bit. We're talking about
a little bit of news for Australia. They're bringing back the thylacine, apparently. So they're working on that. I mean, the thylacine's already here. So, kudos to the scientists.
Yeah. So how are they doing that?
Just like Geno stuff, and so they're being a little bit hush hush about it, but they're basically going, we're working on bringing the thylacine back and all this kind of stuff. My belief is that they're still already here. So many people have seen them, so I'm just like, have they just caught some and they're breeding them and going, hey, we've done it. Who knows? But
I kind of thought about it. Like, I actually did read an article about that, and I think Britt from Brit Investigates, who's just done or just launched the Lost Monster Files.
Yeah, I saw a little bit on there.
Yeah, something on the thylacine there as well. And we commented underneath and said, mate, they're already here. And she said, I know, and I want to come down to Australia. And we're like, come on down. But one of the comments I said to her was, what do you think will happen when they introduce these genome productions of thylacine when they haven't evolved the way that the natural thylacine has, right? So, and you see that, I can't give actual examples right now, but you have seen that throughout the world when they've reintroduced animals or species or whatever, and it's had quite a detrimental effect on the pre-existing animals. And so that was one of my questions, is what happens with that, because sure, these creatures are going to have the same DNA structure, so they'll look the same, they'll act the same, behave the same. However, they do not have the evolution that these other, or the adaptation that these other thylacines have had, with the idea that thylacines still exist. And we see evidence of that all over the show, with stories and encounters and sightings from many hundreds, if not thousands, every year.
I mean, look at the whole thing in Siberia with I think it's Siberia, isn't it, with the mammoths, bringing the mammoths back.
Sure.
It's like, how is that going to work? So, I mean, exciting to see, but
do you think we should be messing with that?
From a curious point of view, a little bit.
This is how Jurassic Park started,
It's so funny because I'm literally in an Uber this morning with the kids, trying to get the kids to school, and my grandson Eli turns around and goes, I want to be a scientist. He goes, I want to bring back what is that? He goes, I want to bring back the thylacine, because we're talking about Bigfoot and all that. So he goes, I want to bring back the thylacine, and he goes, and then I want to bring back dinosaurs. And I turned around and went, there's been a movie already made about this. We shouldn't be doing this.
100%. Anyone seen Jurassic Park?
And the poor Uber driver's just like, it seemed like getting really confused. He had a bit of a giggle, but then he turns around and he goes, now I just want to buy a BUMB. I don't want to say it in case we can buy. He goes, I'm just going to buy a BUMB off of Amazon, and I'm like, what are you going to do with that? He goes, I just want to blow up the trees. And I went, oh great. I said, then you're going to kill all the birds and and all this.
Wait, what is a I thought you were acronyming something, and I was like, what are you talking about?
BOMB. I don't know if we can say it in this world.
Yes.
Yeah, because he just wants to blow up a tree. I'm just like, mate. He goes, how much? He goes, are they expensive?
Yeah, 100%.
You cannot buy them on Amazon.
No, you cannot get one of those on Amazon. Hey, can we just shout out to Mike from Tactical Bigfoot Researchers here with us? What's up, dog? We also have on Instagram, we have Bullseye over there as well, hanging out with us too. So, hey, man. Yeah. What's going on? So, wow, that's super interesting, and I think, those sort of things really take you down like an ethical kind of, if you're religious, it takes you down a religious rabbit hole, and that idea of, should we put it back in the cave and just leave it there, or should we create coronavirus? Like, it's those sort of, every meme that's coming up is, look what we've found, and every comment underneath it, put it back.
Put it back. Put it back. Oh, we've just got a new sarcophagus. Don't open it. It's completely black. Don't open it.
Yeah. And we talked last week about the curses and the people that really suffered from opening Tutankhamun's sarcophagus and tomb and all that sort of, grave.
Yeah, I actually have a thing on that I want to start with before we do the mummy stuff. So
hey, can we just hang on a second, Jules? Can we just shout out to Susie Monster?
I know, this is Susie Monster.
Susie is one of our newest Cryptid Women's Society members. So nice to have you here. Hey, well, Jules, why don't you start, mate? If you've got some solid info you want to drop, then let's get into it.
Well, I've got a little bit of info, and then I'm just going to talk about Brendan Fraser and Arnold Vosloo as this moment.
Sure. Okay, well, you can do your info, and then let me start in 1932, okay?
Yeah, okay. So basically, my thing is about how did mummies become so popular in Hollywood?
Really?
And it's not how you think. It's like, basically, everybody loves mummy movies, man. As soon as mummy movies come out, even Tom Cruise's really crappy one, just saying that, it's probably Tom Cruise fans out there. The mummy, she looked great.
He was amazing.
And I'm pretty sure he's not going to comment on here, so we're pretty safe. But yeah.
But if he is listening, I would really like to come to the church. Let's not cut our nose to spite our face. Tom, if you're listening, I'd like to come to church.
And come back to Taranaki, mate.
So we give Tom Cruise a little bit of grief because he filmed The Last Samurai in Taranaki, which is north of where we lived in Wellington, New Zealand, right? And at that time, we were actors and we were at drama school and we were performing in movies and all this sort of stuff as well. And there was many, many things that happened on the outside of that film that we're Kiwis. We don't give a shit if you're famous. Like, we don't care. There's no paparazzi here. Nobody wants your photos. Nobody cares, mate. Like when Jason Momoa comes over and you get a piggyback down to the supermarket because you're sick, and it's just basic.
Denzel Washington walking around Wellington, people just like, hey, how's it going, mate? He's like, yeah, hey.
yeah. Nobody cares. It's a totally different environment, right? I did a slow Baywatch run to Billy Connolly across the road, and that was possibly one of the best moments of my life. We slow motion Baywatch ran at each other, and he grabbed me and swung me around in his arms and then put me down, and then we walked away. And it was phenomenal.
Huge Billy Connolly fan.
But yeah, so there was a few things about Tom Cruise that happened in New Zealand that we kind of went, oh.
And so because it was Taranaki, he became Tomanaki.
Tomanaki.
So everyone referred to him, even the newspapers referred to him as Tomanaki.
Which possibly went down badly.
But then after that, it got worse, but we won't go into that.
No.
So, all right, so this is kind of like how it became such a huge thing, and how, with mummification and stuff like that, it wasn't about curses. It was never about curses. It was mummification and stuff like that, and is basically, going through the afterlife, as, from our last live that we did, is going through the afterlife. We've got the Book of the Dead, which is not quite what people think, and it is basically just a guidebook to get you through to the other side. So, but up in, in Hollywood, it just became such a huge thing. And so what happened is, like, it was when the Egyptian inspiration came in. So there were a few mummy movies made before, but they were kind of like done in modern times, like done in America or done in the UK, that kind of stuff. So what really made it become an Egyptian thing was when British archaeologist Howard Carter found Tutankhamun, okay? So when they opened the tomb, it just made worldwide news. Like, it spread like wildfire. And, as we know, back in those times, it was just such a big thing. Egypt was just such this amazing mystical place where people just wanted to go. And, and so just even your random person would go there just because they wanted to experience Egypt. But what happened is that one of their financial backers that was over there got bitten by a mosquito, and basically he probably died from malaria or something like that. So But there was a novelist over there also writing about all these amazing things. And he was the first one to turn around and go, he got cursed at Tutankhamun's tomb, and that is why he died.
Bloody authors,
Yeah.
authors, eh?
So
Starting rumors.
authors, and then so basically the press just ran with the idea, and next minute it just blew up that all these Egyptian mummies and stuff had curses in them. All the writings were curses and all this kind of stuff. You know, it was all mistranslated basically of what all these things meant. So the whole narrative basically became mummies are bad, mummies have curses. So when anybody died that had any, like whether they were visitors, whether they worked on it, on the tomb, or, you know, financial backers, whatever. So whenever they died, they basically had all got blamed on this curse.
Yeah.
So, and that's basically how it became kind of, so these gruesome rumors and all that. So this is how Hollywood jumped onto it. And that's when the first like Egyptian mummy movies started coming out, and then just mummies terrorizing people and, you know, basically trying to eat their brains and, you know, all this kind of stuff. So it was literally when the Valley of the Kings was first discovered, and that is how it all basically blew up. And then I think you're going to talk about the first kind of the Boris Karloff movie, which was 1932. So that was literally based on, you know, the Tutankhamun, the Egypt one, not so much Tutankhamun, but the Egyptian kind of mummies.
That's so interesting, eh?
Yeah.
It's so interesting that Hollywood just jumps on blimmin' anything, and especially when it comes to like indigenous, native legends and stories and things like that, twist them to get that drama in it and change it away. And like you said, we found that in the Book of the Dead, right? It's not actually the Book of the Dead at all.
Not a single curse in it. There's no curses in the Book of the Dead.
No. And in fact, it's been translated incorrectly, and it should be the Book of the Light. Because it's all about going to the light. It's not about being dead. They don't believe in death. They believe in transition. So super interesting that Hollywood, you know, just has so much blimmin' power when it comes to our perception of things, you know, because you go, I want to go to Egypt because I want to go and see all these, you know, scary things and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's not the scariest thing of the camel spiders that face you.
I'm going to order some for Ricky. I'm going to get them delivered to our hotel.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think like when I think about it, and like what tactical Bigfoot research Mike's just said, so if the chemical plant theory is true and they were not testing the air, that could be basis for the curse theory. Not going to respond to that just yet, Mike, but I think looking at those sort of theories, basically, I don't know who you want to say them as the elites or the people that pull the strings within what we get through media and all that sort of stuff. They put this perception on us. They give us this perception that the native people, indigenous people, ancient peoples were stupid. They were too silly to be able to do A, B, C, and D. And, you know, there's a new Netflix show out, Ancient Apocalypse #2. Have you seen that come out? You know what he's talking about? He goes into America, but he also goes into Rapa Nui, Easter Island. So interesting. And so it's definitely something to watch. So if you want to kind of look a little bit deeper into this sort of stuff and how incredibly clever and technical and just bloody good at what they did as far as navigation and building and everything else, definitely watch that as far as the indigenous people.
And as far as like the curses and stuff, you know, a lot of these tombs that have been opened, they had like a fungus in them, like a mold and stuff. And so basically they're suddenly opened, and then all these kind of like this fungus and this mold and everything, you know,
spores, right? Yeah.
Spores. And so people are breathing them in and they're getting sick, and, you know, and it's happened. And then, you know, they finally realized what was going on. So they literally got to the point where, okay, we actually need to have a mask on. So that's why I'm kind of like, when they show these like, oh, we're opening this door and we're going into this tomb for the very first time, I kind of, you know, query it, because they know that a lot of these tombs, when they're first open, they've got to let them air out. They've got to put masks on for some
Sure,
of
there's
them.
protocols in place, right? Yeah. So you know it's been somebody's already been in there.
But you know, but that's a safety thing, you know.
Yeah,
so
sure.
yeah,
And that's media for you, right? We know that, you know, you go on a paranormal investigation and you watch anything that's a paranormal show and you're like, they've been sitting there for the last like 10 hours. They've condensed that 10 hours into like the very small amount of activity that they've had within that 45-minute show or an hour show.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Hey, that's really cool. But I do believe in curses, right? I do believe that there absolutely are curses, and I know in every religion or culture or whatever, they do talk about curses. They do have curses in place, but I think absolutely it's been changed and manipulated to fit the narrative, which is the pop culture movies, right? And make a shitload of money off them. Bucket loads of cash. Yeah, bucket loads of cash.
But I'm the same. Even if it was Tom Cruise, I still went and saw the Mummy.
Oh, sure.
I love mummy movies, werewolf movies. Oh my god, I will go to all of them. B grade, C grade, D grade. I don't care. I watch them. I love B grade movies. They're freaking hilarious. So like my favorite, like the werewolf one, was the British one that they did, Dog Soldiers. If anybody has not seen that, find that, the British Dog Soldiers. You want a gory, funny, like werewolf movie, that is the one to go see.
That's the one.
That is the one. Oh my god, this background is doing my head in. I know.
Yeah, me too. It's okay though. Okay, cool. Well, let's drop a little bit of, I'm just mucking around with my screens. I'm sorry, team. Let's just drop a little bit of info, and I've got a wee picture.
If you keep going, I'm just gonna mess around with my background.
Wee picture. So let me find the wee picture that I want to put up right now. I'm just going to see if I can drop this. Oh, there we go.
Oh,
there we go. Can you guys see that one? This is coming up now. It's just uploading itself. So let's just drop this guy in. Here you go. This is the promotional picture to the Mummy. This was probably the first biggest mummy movie. It wasn't the first mummy movie, but it was probably the most successful and biggest and well-known, became the most well-known mummy movie, right? Yeah. It's called The Mummy. I know, like we've gone real interesting on the get-go, but it's called The Mummy. It was released in 1932, and go back then. The fact that they had color, color on their imagery, but it was a black and white movie. They had sound back then as well, so audio. And there's some really interesting pieces of information that I found in regards to this sort of stuff, right? So as I was starting to look into these kind of retro movies, these old school movies, I was like, all right, so tell me, how did this come about? Where did it come from? And Juliet's already talked about, like, the expedition and stuff. But basically, check the synopsis of this movie.
Mike's having to leave. Bye, Mike.
See you, buddy. So the synopsis of this movie is, and just, check the dates and check the storyline here, right? In 1921, which was just a year before, I believe, Tutankhamun was opened, right? 1921, a field expedition in Egypt discovers the mummy of an ancient Egyptian prince, Imhotep, who was condemned and buried alive for sacrilege. Also found in the tomb is the scroll of Thoth, which is an Egyptian god, and he's been connected to the Emerald Tablets and Atlantis, which can bring the dead back to life. One night, a young member of the expedition reads the scroll out loud and then goes insane, realizing that he had brought Imhotep back to life. 10 years later, disguised as a modern Egyptian, the mummy attempts to reunite with his lost love, an ancient princess who has been reincarnated into a beautiful young woman. Oh, that sounds familiar.
Sounds
It is. So very familiar.
familiar.
It's obviously like the Tutankhamun story that Juliet told, so it comes from some form of factual information, but also it's exactly the same storyline that the modern mummies have, that those stories have
just been modified. And there's actual several kind of stories which all kind of go off this original one, kind of all very similar.
100%.
And stuff like that. So
it makes me giggle because I'm like, funny.
I think the interesting thing is that him as the mummy, you only see him in the very, very beginning of the movie as the mummy, and the rest of the time he's not. So
100%.
Yeah.
So this is one of, oh, sorry, he hasn't loaded yet. Just going too fast.
Yes, there he is.
So this is Boris Karloff. So Boris was Imhotep. And you can see that he's got some pretty full-on wrinkles, but this is him dressed.
I need a moisturizer.
He needs a moisturizer. Hardcore. Check him out. But like 1932 makeup, right? Like he's pretty cool. I love it.
He's pretty cool. That latex, that fake latex.
Oh God, could you imagine how long that would have taken to put on? I've got a couple of other pictures that I want to show you because I think they're so interesting because it takes you back to that 1932 space, right? So this is, what you were saying, Jules, is him as the mummy. He's obviously just showing, where he was found on the map. I don't know.
I'm there. Mummy GPS, right there. He's like, dude, really? Something things to do with that too.
It was so good. I was like, this is great picture. And the other one that I've got here is this one here, and I just thought it was fantastic. As far as like, the makeup and the bald cap. Check that one out.
This is a little hat.
Yeah, his bald cap there. So moving into obviously we are a woman's website, so we like to talk about the amazing women that were part of this movie, right? Part of this sort of industry. And this is Zita Johann. So she she played a character called Helen Grosvenor, which is essentially Evie or Evelyn in the new ones. But look how gorgeous she is.
Yeah.
I mean, she's so cute. Yeah. She's so cute. And she was very, very popular in the 1930s. She's just such a beautiful woman, and she's not what we see as beautiful these days. I mean, like, look at what it used to be like. She's got thin lips. She certainly hasn't had a nose job. Do you know what I mean?
She looks gorgeous. Yeah. No, it's I love going back to those, those old movies, that old style, the glamour, they were just absolutely stunning. So, and they just all look the same, like today's celebrities. They all just
for sure. I've got
faces just get thinner, their noses get thinner, and their lips just get bigger, and you're just like, what the heck?
Yeah. It's changed dramatically, right? I mean, all you have to do is look at Marilyn Monroe in swimsuit versus what we get now, which is basically nothingness, Yeah. So in this movie, she was obviously on an altar and all that sort of stuff. I thought that was quite an interesting shot there. And one of the coolest things that I learned about making movies in the early years was that they essentially went and found real relics, right? The majority of things that were on set were real. They had come from ancient Egyptian tombs.
Yeah.
And I found that absolutely amazing. But why wouldn't you? Like, you don't have a prop master. So, you're going to do whatever you need to do to make the movie work, right?
And then they were all kind of lost out the back, or, people find stuff years later, or,
absolutely, yes. This is one of their sex scenes, obviously. She looks pretty excited about it. I just thought this is so
Not
funny.
coconuts, but it's something on her little boobies there.
Yeah, she obviously hasn't had a boob job, like they were voluptuous women, right?
That's so funny.
So some of these photos, I was like, oh God, this is beautiful. I love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk about who was the first. Oh, sorry. Let's just back the track up a little bit. So the director of this 1932 mummy film was Karl Freund. And he has made numerous movies, including other mummy movies as well. The stars were Boris Karloff, Zita Johann, and David Manners, who played the prince there in the picture. I beg your pardon. David Manners did not play the prince. Sorry, David Manners was the explorer. So he was Brendan Fraser, essentially. Yeah. The writers, which really got me, the writers of the Mummy 1932 film was a lady called Nina Wilcox Putnam and a guy called Richard Shayer. And then there was also another gentleman called John L. Balderston, who basically came in and did a little bit of tweaking, but basically it came from Nina and Richard. And so I was like, oosh, who is this Nina? And do I have a picture of Nina? Oh, yes, I do. So I love the fact that we can show pictures now, right? It's taken us a long time to figure this out.
Took Lisa a long time, just saying, guys.
Oh yeah, 100%. And Susie Monster says her eyes are amazing, talking about Zita.
Yeah. Oh my God, aren't they? Yeah, 100%. Big beautiful eyes. Oh.
I mean, seriously, you can see why she was one of, she was like a Charlize Theron sort of top kind of.
You can see why she was, and because all the women back then, wasn't it? Anything that had to do with Egyptian stuff, they had those big, beautiful eyes. And
I mean, yeah, absolutely. So this is Nina and Richard during their writing phase on the Mummy. And she was really, really popular as far as writing novels. She did a few newspaper articles and columns.
Was it all about Egyptian stuff, or was it just like
no, everything? Yeah, it was really, really interesting looking.
We obviously had a love for it, because I mean, and that's it with movies like that. You've got to have that love for it. It's like George Lucas with Star Wars. You've got to have that love. You've got to have that thing for it to get those real kind of.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So I just thought it was really interesting. Like she passed away in 1962. So she was born in 1888 to 1962. Wow. So nice long life. She was an American novelist, a screenwriter, and a playwright. She wrote more than 500 short stories, around 1,000 magazine articles, and several books in addition to regular newspaper columns, serials, comic books, and children's literature, which is something that I kind of went, oh, cool. Many of her stories were made into films, including a story that was the basis for the 1932 film, The Mummy. She married 4 times.
I love that back then, eh?
Yeah, I was like, let's put that in there. 4 times in 1932. Like that's unheard of, like back in those days, you don't get divorced and, all that sort of stuff. But she was also estimated to have earned $1 million from her writing and drafted the first 1040 income tax forms for the IRS. So she was influential.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I thought, what a cool thing to kind of just get out there. Miss Nina Wilcox Putnam. But what was the first movie, Juliet? What was the first movie? It wasn't the 1932 movie that you think you might know.
No, there were a few before that, and I can't remember the name. Okay, tell us the name.
Well then, okay. Well then, okay. What was the first mummy movies? Many people believe that the very first Egyptian movie to be made, but this is wrong. It's not the 1932. That would be in 1899, called Robbing Cleopatra's Tomb.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So obviously the Mummy would become the most influential of the earliest mummy films, but it wasn't the first. Bram Stoker's 1903 mummy novel, The Jewel of Seven Stars, was the only classic mummy story of its time. So literally this is, and what they used to do was they would take these stories, these older classic stories, and then turn them into films, right?
Like they do now, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So basically what Nina did was she helped adjust that the normal take on things and change it, so she was actually writing essentially modern day stories that were then being turned into screenplays.
Yeah.
So that was a real game-changing moment in the space of like Hollywood and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. You know, there were mummy movies made before, but they weren't popular. You know, they were made, but it wasn't until the 1932 movie that kind of came out, and then it just blew up. So,
yeah, absolutely. And basically it goes, and instead of adopting another Stoker story, Karloff Jr., a producer, hired Richard Shea to craft the story, and then Shea decided to work with Nina Wilcox, who basically came in and basically did it all. But they decided to base the movie on an old story from Italy, right? So yes, it's got sprinklings of Tutankhamun, 10 years earlier, but in fact, the story of the Mummy 1932 was based on an Italian story. So it says, as David Robson states in The Mummy, the narrative is based on the legend of an 18th century Italian who told people he was an alchemist, someone with the magical ability to make gold from base metals. The alchemist also became popular in society as a mystic. Yeah. So I thought that was really super interesting, because I was like, what the...
Because it was all around that time when people were going over to Egypt. They were all exploring.
Yes.
And Tutankhamun wasn't even known of at that time. It was, it was, So there was that Egyptian influence in there, but
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was definitely taken from there. But the story itself of the mummy was taken from an alchemist. So I didn't do any more diving into that, because I was like, damn it, I really want to. And now I want to know. The more I talk about it, I'm like, oh,
no, it's really interesting. You know, and the fact that there are mummies all around the world. You know, there's certain, especially South America and stuff like that. But it seems to be the Egyptian side of stuff that has, again, Hollywood is responsible for that, for kind of bringing through this pop culture and
for sure
and all that kind of stuff. So
so interesting. So that's what I've got on the 1932 mummy story. Oh, sorry, that's a total lie. Hold on, just hold, please. Hold on.
Oh God, hold on, hurry up! I don't have much time left. I gotta go to work, guys.
God damn it!
Late getting here, and I'm going home early.
This is a sequel. There were 4 sequels made to the 1932 Mummy. So a sequel.
Oh the Mummy 2. Yeah.
There's also this guy. I just love these retros, right? They're so cool.
Love the old posters, the old movie posters. They're so cool.
Yeah, they're so choice, right? And then the last one that I've got is this one.
It looks more like Swamp Thing. It looks basically like it's crooked. Again, in need of very good moisturizer.
But you can see the change as well through like the costuming and like the women dressed as this and all that sort of stuff. So I found that really interesting too. But so basically there was a fair few sequels going on. And in fact, there was 4 in total. And pretty crazy. But Imhotep did change. So he was not Imhotep anymore. He was turned into a guy called Cardis. So he was only Imhotep for the very first Mummy movie.
Yeah. And then they picked it up from that. So that's really interesting. So what's your favorite Mummy movie, Lisa?
Honestly, I love Brendan Fraser and The Mummy Returns and that sort of stuff. And it's probably just because it's modern.
It's our generation.
It's our generation. We kind of grew up on those, and I love Aksunamun and the fact that she's fully body painted.
Yeah, the fight that they did. Oh my God, that was so cool.
Yeah. So talking about that, Juliet, why don't you tell a story about drama school?
You mean us fighting?
Well, we were essentially doing that. We were doing that part of the movie, right? We were doing that.
We
that
were
fight.
doing that fight.
Hey, hang on, wait,
we
before you.
we ended up very bruised and black.
Yeah, we did. Hang on, we'll tell that story in a second. So, do you have anything on this, or do you want me to kind of jump in?
Basically, it's just a Nooks and a Moon. Yeah, it's just like, for me, the Brendan Fraser, Arnold Vosloo, and I can literally remember just going to the movies, and then when Obed or Oded, when he came on playing, the Egyptian bloody warrior, oh my God, I was just in love with him from that moment on.
Yeah.
Absolutely in love with him, and I've probably watched everything on him since. And then Brendan Fraser, and I'm just like, oh my God, this is just, it was like Speed all over again. And I mean Speed the movie, not Speed. No, that was with Keanu Reeves, where you kind of like sit there and go,
can I just do this real quick? Who's doing Speed?
The movie, just like put it out there, the movie Speed.
Who's getting us banned today? Who's getting us banned today? Okay.
I did not say the word B-O-M-B.
I'm just talking about Speed, the movie.
Outdoor strikes in any way, shape, or form.
We do not condone that behaviour.
But yeah, no, like honestly, that movie, I think I probably went back and watched it over and over again at the movies, because that was, really back then they weren't really coming onto TV very, very often.
Real.
But that was just, and it was just amazing, like the makeup, the whole movie, the cast, it was so perfect. And the brother Jonathan, he was pretty funny too. I've forgotten his real name. But just absolutely perfect. With a good little bit of a scare when you first see it and stuff like that. So
hey, I've got a couple of pieces of info about the Mummy movie. So this is a Nooks and a Moon, and obviously, like, she's just amazing because she's fully body painted, right? Yeah. And so she said it took 4 hours every day to paint her. And then it took another 2 hours to retouch every day, right? To touch everything back up. She said she started getting sick from the paint. And when they called her to do Mummy number 2, she was just like, I'm not using paint. So she basically got a bodysuit made. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, man, if you've ever been on set anywhere, like you just wear so much makeup and then add on body paint and everything else.
Body can't breathe and
and the latex and that sort of
stuff. Walking around like this, she would just
man. Yeah, crazy. And so like I remember when they were filming Lord of the Rings, right? And they were doing all the orc makeup and that sort of stuff. And there was guys on set at 3 a.m. in the morning ready to get kind of done so they could get on set for 9 or 10 a.m. So pretty crazy. So I thought that was really, really interesting. But she said it was the most amazing, life-changing experience that she's ever had, and she absolutely loved it. Arnold Vosloo had to it's a funny story. So he says he had to go to some pretty painful lengths to play Imhotep, who appeared hairless in the film, right? And he says, for the first movie, I bravely consented to this lovely Scottish girl who was a makeup artist to wax me. He said it happened one time and I yelled like a stuffed pig and went, nah, I'm done. And so basically he was getting up at 5:30 every morning so that he could shave his entire body. His entire body, right?
Thank God now for like laser. Yeah.
Oh, for real. Yeah, absolutely. So this is them on set here. And yeah, he's basically just had to shave everything from 5 a.m. every morning.
Wasn't he just like the perfect mummy? Like honestly, he just
it. So he was phenomenal. Such a good movie. It was just such a good franchise.
Yeah. I can't wait for the kids to be able to watch it because they're a little bit too young. Yeah. Even though Eli watches all the Jurassic Parks. This is what's really funny. It's a little bit off thing. So there's the Jurassic Park, like the kids cartoon that comes on.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of made for older kids. he gets really scared. There's one character in it who's this mean girl, and he gets really scared, and he won't watch her. Like, he literally will not watch her, and yet he watches all the Jurassic Park movies, loves it.
Oh my
God! Like, yay!
He just doesn't like her.
He doesn't like this cartoon character.
That is so interesting.
So, and she's got like spiky hair, and like, you know, she's like all mean looking. And he's just like, nope.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. Hey, real quick, Jules. There's a couple of comments over here on Instagram. Hey to the Ancient Enigma Files who have joined us. And also Cryptids, Creeps and Conspiracy. She says, hey girls. And she says, oh, the razor burn.
Yeah. Oh my God. Back then, you didn't have good razors like you do today. Far out.
Oh, yeah. So this here is the, I don't know if you can see that pretty clearly, but this is the fight scene, right, between the two girls. So when Juliet and I were at drama school, we had to do stage fighting. We learned how to stage fight and do all the moves without killing each other and hurting each other and stuff, essentially hurting each other. No broken bones. And so we thought, oh, this would be really cool to reenact this scene, right? So that's what we were asked to do as one of our projects. And we're like, oh, we'll do this, but we'll change it a little bit. It'll be great. And because Juliet and I come from a martial arts background, we don't do things by
hard arts backgrounds.
We do things by whole. And I think at one point I was standing on a desk jumping over the top of you, and we were hitting each other with sticks, and we were jumping. We were rolling over each other's back, holding a stick.
On tables, and
yeah. And the director of this school came running down the hallway, burst in and went, stop, don't fight. And we were like, what?
We just supposedly stopped. We're like looking at him going, what? Oh, we're not allowed to stage fight, we're not allowed to practice. He actually thought we were having a physical fight. So it was pretty funny. And then he got really mad because he was like so shocked, and he walked out the door going, "Play girl." But no, oh my God. And then we went out night clubbing, I think that night, that weekend, and like, you know, because we just got like tops on and stuff, and we was like, we probably should have covered up because we looked like we had beaten our wrists with black, because this whole thing where we had to kind of clash wrists, we were supposed to hit flat, and we didn't. We both hit on our bones of our wrists, and we were like black and blue everywhere.
Yeah. We'd look like we'd been in a gang fight or something like that. We're like, damn, we're just like hitting hard. But no, it was so funny. It was so much fun. It was so good.
But we weren't allowed to have weapons, so we were a little bit disappointed because we got size, and they were like, no. I'm like, oh.
Like, why? Why not? You know, obviously.
Yeah. Funny.
So I've got a funny story. Have you got time, Jules?
I've got 5 more minutes.
Okay.
And then I've got to go.
I've got a funny story from Brendan Frazier, who says several crew members ended up being airlifted to the set. From the set to a local medical center after being bitten or stung by the local wildlife, right? Because they were filming in the middle of a volcano in Egypt. So he said they sent a memo out describing a type of snake, Fraser told Entertainment Weekly. I think it had like yellow dots on it, they said. So if you see this kind of snake, do not go near it, because if it bites you at best, they'll amputate your limb, right? All right, cool. We're on set, not a problem. Anyway, there I was pissing down a rock, and I looked down and there was a yellow dotted snake. I was like, F this! I just ran for it. Always the one little snake that tries to get you, eh? I thought that was real funny. It's
like the least expect it. You know, it's like here you've had a handbag up in the cupboard for a while, and you kind of go, oh, I'm going to use this handbag today, and then you open it up and you're like, oh, hello, friend. I don't know what it is, man. Spiders love your handbags here, and so like everything goes into like Ziploc bag, or it's tied up. They're just every time. I don't know. And
hey, I've got one last thing, and I just want to. We haven't mentioned Rachel Weisz, and I love her as an actress. She is absolutely phenomenal. I think we're kind of holding her for the last, right? I love her in so many movies that she's been in, The Constant Gardener and a few other ones that she's just phenomenal in. And she really, I think, pulls this movie together. And she's such a strong woman presence in it. And I think it needed that. But her character name is Evie Carnahan, and do you know where her name comes from?
No.
So, did you know that there is a hidden meaning in the character's name? Evelyn might be an ordinary name, but writers put serious thought into the naming of their characters. Evelyn Carnahan is actually a homage to Lady Evelyn Carnarvon, the daughter of Egyptologist Lord Carnarvon.
Oh,
And she is this beautiful lady.
Yeah.
Let's just see if that one comes up.
Gotta do it, gotta do it.
Come on. Sorry, I took too long. Turns out she's like, no.
Not today, Satan.
Oh, sorry. Hold on a second. Hold on. She's coming. Here she goes. Upload. Come on. Get up there. You know you want to. Come on. Sorry, team. Having technical issues.
When don't we? I mean, that's what this show is about. We're going to do a whole show on technical issues and how to fix them. But
yeah, it's basically the Carnarvons etched their name in history when they opened the tomb of Tutankhamun in 1922. They were part of that original opening. And one of the coolest things is she was there all the time. Like, so she was the daughter of this Egyptologist, but man, she was on all the time. She was there in all the digs. There's numerous photos of her. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it to load. Of her being in Egypt and spending time. Sorry, I can't get it to load. Of her being in Egypt and spending time with her father and with the other Egyptologist. She spent the majority of her life there. And like we talked about the episode or a couple of episodes ago about women in Egyptology and these archaeologists over there, they just don't get any recognition. And you can guarantee that she was finding things and doing things that she wasn't getting that recognition for. So I wanted to share, but what I'll do is I'll pop that straight up onto Instagram so you can see what she looked like, see her image, and check her out because she's absolutely amazing. She was quite phenomenal in this field, and named after Rachel Weisz's character, Evie.
Yeah, and definitely, so that's really cool. But definitely, we put up a book. I think it's also about early Egyptologists, and the author there, I can't remember his name. He was talking about the women that were there, the very first women that were there, and they were a big part of it from US, from UK, all that kind of stuff. And just their amazing stories, from one where she camped out on top of the pyramids.
Yes.
And another one where she went round to all the harems and the brothels and that kind of stuff. So
yes.
Just off note, did anybody see the dog on top of the pyramid? So
it's on our TikTok.
The guy had a phone going over, and there's just like a random stray dog on the top there, just like snuffing around, and people were like in a panic, and eventually the dog came down. They just filmed this dog, and he just like jumped his way down. I mean, come on. But
yeah. So it's on our TikTok. If you're over on TikTok, jump on Cryptic Women Society.
So
and it's amazing, right? Because obviously he goes up there quite often.
Yeah,
he comes back down. He knew exactly what path he was taking, right?
So they said it was like either hunting snakes or whatever. So, but
having a good old time.
It just became apparently the famous dog of Giza now. So it's just Anubis, yeah.
The head of the Sphinx, that's so interesting. I love these mummy movies, and I think I might go and do a little binge watch kind of movie night where I get to go back and watch them all. And then obviously like The Rock got involved in the Scorpion King and all that sort of stuff. And
don't get me wrong, I love Dwayne Johnson, love him, but
I love the Assyrian stories. I just think they're so cool, and I find that really, really interesting. And so I'm kind of just like, I think I'll go and do a binge. I have been trying to find those retro movies, but I haven't been able to.
I've done the same thing. Very, very hard to find. I think basically you would have to get them like on that's something that's been downloaded onto a CD or something.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's really cool. So I'm gonna have to go, guys. I have to go to work today.
You are amazing, Juliet. Thank you so much for working and making money So that,
Go to Egypt.
yeah, so she can go to Egypt.
I'm working, making the money.
I tell you what we're going to do. We're going to wrap this puppy up now and say thank you, everyone, for joining us on YouTube and on Instagram.
Thank you, Monster. Thank you
Yeah.
for the help. Thank you, everybody from Instagram who's there. Hello.
All of our beautiful followers and our friends. Welcome to the family, to our new members. Remember, we've got this 2-for-1 deal going. Please go ahead and share. Now's the time to buy Christmas gifts and that sort of stuff. Get in on it and please share these, because the more we do this, the faster we grow, and the more we
start putting these out soon so you can get yourself a t-shirt. So that would be very, very cool.
100%. And we will keep you up to date with all of the secret things that are happening in the back room right now that we can't share. But we'll do it soon. We love you all. Thank you so much for sharing and joining and having fun with us. See you next week for Cleopatra.
Cleopatra. Oh my God, how exciting. Cleopatra and Elizabeth Taylor. She has.
And that's our last week of Egypt, and then
maybe we should come Monday to Monday.
Maybe we'll dress up as Egyptians that day. Possibly.
Quite possibly. But then I've got to drop the kids off at school.
Just own it. All right. Hey, have a fantastic
Bye, everyone.